I click streaming it. I am so not ready for this. I am so below the curb. See. See Pootsie. Need a stink seat. Do I... Okay, wait. What do I even have going on right now? Do I even have my mic on? Okay, there's my mic. And then I have this. Okay. It's not what I want it to be. You got Fragpunk? What the flip? Okay, what's the microphone device? It's the right microphone device. Um... I just clicked streaming. I didn't even think, chat. I'm sorry. It's gonna be a little bit, maybe not terribly of a slow process, but we're getting it going. Yippee. Fortnite. Is that set to Fortnite? Set to Fortnite, right? What? Okay, fine, fine. Boo! Alright, gotta turn on copyright. I miss the mute others option, okay? I'm just gonna say it. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why they got rid of it, but there is no longer a mute others option. Alright. Rank 0 build, baby! Woo! Simple edit. Oh, that's cool. Turn that off though. I mean, I don't think I'm gonna be using it, so. Chat, it's been a while. It's been a long time. At least a few weeks. It's at least been 2 weeks. It's probably 3, maybe even 4. Um, Life has a certain way of getting in my way. And I have a certain thing of just not taking care of the things I wanted to do. I had a lot of responsibilities to take care of. And then as soon as those responsibilities were taken care of, I had a lot of daily shop refresh. Why is that like its own little tab? I've had a lot of responsibilities to take care of. And that lasted for maybe about a week and a half. And then after that was all sorted out, I needed some time to just do things for me. And streaming and reading this book is a thing I wanted to do for me, but for some reason I just didn't do it. I think what happened was is that every night my friends would want to do something, and so I just wouldn't get it done. But that changes, okay? And it doesn't change because I'm going to form a healthier habit or anything of like that. It's going to change because today we're finishing the book. There's a sort of emotional there's a sort of emotional feeling bubbling within me because I've really enjoyed this book. It's been a lovely book. I genuinely think this book has changed me for the better. And that's great. It's kind of a corny thing to say, but it's my truth. It's my truth. And this has been one of the more impactful books that I've read. It's definitely one of the more interesting. Like I would have read this book on my own within a week. Like that's how good this book has been. But um reading it aloud to you guys, I will admit, takes a lot of energy, you know? Like even if I'm just reading out words, I'm using my voice, I'm performing. And it made it where a thing where like as much as I want to read this book, I can't just go 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 because I had other things to take care of. But sitting here thinking to myself, wow, we've been on a journey together. I can really say that. Even though it's been a while and I almost feel removed from this experience, you know? Like it's been so long since I've done this, like I almost feel disconnected. Because even more so has it been from when I've played Fortnite and streamed and whatnot. It's been even longer since I've read the book because I've been on a bit of a Balatro kick. The Fortnite and Balatro kick, I will not lie. And that has been its own journey because that might be one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. And that is crazy to me to say that. It's crazy to me to think that like that's just my truth, you know? And crazy that's been. It's good to be here now, and it's good to let's just finish this out. Let's go out with a bang. What do you guys say? Hopefully, I didn't lose any momentum. And I think the unfortunate truth of the matter is that I likely have. But we'll get through it. Already, we have somebody getting on the bus. Already, I am in a bush. Already, I am opening my book. Already, I am turning to a page. Now, I will admit, we did stop in the middle of a chapter last time. I was so tired, I just needed to do something else, and that something else ended up becoming its own little side event. So we're starting in the middle of the chapter here. It would be misleading to say we pay for friendship, but friends certainly cost money. If I went out eating and drinking with someone and they always paid, then it wouldn't feel like friendship. I don't really know how to define friend or friendship, and I suppose different people would define them in different ways. But it seems to me that being with friends often involves getting out your wallet. You may go to a restaurant with friends, for example, and when you do, you share the bill, so that you have a balanced relationship. You don't want there to be debts on either side. If you play a computer game at someone else's house, then it may not seem as if it's costing you anything, but if you live some distance away, then you have to pay for the train or bus to get there. And if you have snacks or drinks, then you probably share the cost. But then, just going to someone's house once to play a game doesn't guarantee a real friendship. You'd have to keep meeting up, and every time there'd be a cost involved. I know I'm sounding stingy. The point is simply that building and maintaining friendships involves spending time and money. Besides financial costs, there are costs in terms of emotion and energy. Friends often lend things to each other. In Japan, this happens a lot with manga books. I did that with colleagues I got on with at the company I worked for. I'm not the type of person who wants to read something just because someone recommends it to me. I'd borrow it just because it seemed unfriendly not to. And if you borrow a book, you have to read it. When you give it back, you have to give comments. If you didn't enjoy it, you either have to lie and say you did, or you have to choose your words very carefully so as not to harm your relationship. I find all this kind of thing very stressful. I suppose a psychological burden is the cost of adapting to the other person. As I said earlier on, I'm bad at building relationships within a fixed community. And I think one reason for this is that can't easily adapt. I guess this makes the mental cost of relationships greater than it would otherwise be. To reach a stage where you can just be yourself with the other person takes a lot of time and energy. You probably argue sometimes or spend long periods hesitating whether to say things or not. And this is all a type of psychological cost that mounts up over time until you reach the day when you can say without reservation, that manga I borrowed, it was garbage. So I think you could certainly say that skipping the whole process would cut cost, financial and emotional. That, at least, was how this particular client saw it. My not doing anything meant that there was no pressure on her. It was interesting to find someone who thought like that. That man's got a degree in yapology. You know what? You're so right. Here's another client who felt similarly. A tweet about this got over 400 likes. Open envelope representing that of a message. I'd like you to eat with me. Something I've cooked myself. Place, my room. I live with my parents and elder brother. Time, any time on a weekend or public holiday. Reason, cooking for people satisfies my craving for approval. But if I just keep cooking for a friend, there'll come a time when they just take it in for granted. So I'd like to cook for rental person. I'm not sure whether eating will fit with your definition of doing nothing, but please think about it. How's it going, dude? You quit multi? No. No, I haven't. I'm still playing multiverses. I don't do it nearly as often. When that second rank season reset came in, and then there was just like nothing, And maybe there is something now. Maybe they did some more entered arenas and I'm like missing out on a cool skin or something. But whenever they did that, I was just kind of like, oh, so this is it. And my interest in like getting that good rank with the interest in getting a good rank reward or something like from getting into masters or whatever just wasn't there for me. And so I've been mainly just playing the game when I want to play it. It's very few and in between, I will admit, because I do play a lot of other games as well. And after trying ranked, it's all just mainly sweats. Yeah, that's an unfortunate truth. And I hope the people who are still doing that, I hope they're having a good last moment. And I'm still having fun with the game, but I have so much other things going on right now that I don't feel like dedicating myself to that. Like I really feel like I got my last goodbye during the last rank season, and I don't love the game enough to do it again, unfortunately. And I love multiverses a lot, to the point where people make fun of me for it, and validly so, I should add. But yeah, I'm not quitting Fortnite or multiverses. You might see another multiverses stream from me. I'm not entirely sure. It really just depends on the mood. I haven't been streaming at all lately, honestly. Okay, that person is over there. What we're doing right now is I'm reading a book. I'm reading a book to the stream. It's called Rental Person Who Does Nothing, a memoir by Shoji Morimoto. And I'm on page 140 of like 190. I'm really wanting to finish it today. And I just know that I have plans around 4 a.m. And so I'm going to be doing this until that time or until I finish. But we're playing ranked Fortnite, you know, switching ranked games. What the hell? Why so early? Um, well, okay, so I have a job, despite being a multiverses player would lead you to believe, and playing ranked Fortnite while I'm sitting in a bush. I do have a job, and I work overnights at my job. And so a lot of times I'm up very late because I'm used to working overnights. And me and a friend are supposed to go take a walk at 4 a.m. because he also works. Okay, I thought social plans. They are social plans. Um, because I have another friend who works overnights, and we're gonna go being quiet like he won't hear me. I'm quiet. You know what? Just run. Worth. We're gonna go take a walk and then go to IHOP. We went to IHOP like a few weeks ago, and the service was so terrible. And the manager came up to us and was like, "Hey, you know, we're having a really rough night here. Let's, if we get her name, you can come back and get a free meal sometime." So we're gonna go follow up on that. But yeah, no, it is a social plan, and I'm staying up till then. I'm gonna go to bed around 8 a.m. because degenerate. Although I just said it was because of my job that I'm up that late. So does that make it degenerate? I don't know. It's definitely a degen hour, you know what I mean? But yeah, 40 pages and we got 4 hours, so 10 pages an hour. We could probably do that, yeah? Okay. But this is what the stream's gonna be. Me running around, hiding in bushes, and then reading some book. When I'm asked to watch someone work or study, they often provide manga to give me something to pass the time. I normally read them, but I never give opinions about them, and nobody ever asks me to. If I want to, I play with my phone instead of reading. I haven't asked for the manga after all. The client has simply provided them and has no particular expectation that I'll do anything, so I don't have to worry about it, which means there's no mental cost. It's very easy. Oh wait, I need to check. I just realized I might. Am I on the multiverses category on Twitch? I would not be surprised if I am. What category does it have me on? Okay, well, streaming multiverses. Oopsie. Did I do that? Yeah, I don't want to do that. The thing I use to stream, I can update the game in OBS, but because I'm using like a third-party platform or something to stream to multiple platforms, no matter what I do, it always resets to my last stream, and then I have to go back and change it. And let's just say, it's maybe been a bit since I've streamed, and I may have forgotten. And I bet it's also doing that on YouTube. And so I'm gonna have to check YouTube as well. And I'm gonna die in a bush. Hey, buddy. Okay, that's unfortunate. All right, let's see what game it's set to. Standard category gaming. No category. Okay. Fortnite. Go ahead and type that in. All right, let's see how we do. We probably gained like maybe a few percent. Ranked protected, so we lost percent. Okay, whatever. I just don't get it with this game. It's always like it's pretty willy-nilly. It's always pretty willy-nilly on like what rank, like if it's gonna give me points or not. But that's okay. I don't care terribly. Sometimes I wonder if it's penalizing me because it notices that I'm just like sitting in one spot or not. Because it feels like the matches that I'm doing more are the matches where I'm getting more points as well. But I'm not entirely sure. Okay. Well, at least the categories are updated. Today, I was taken to a ramen place by manga artist Kaoru Nagahori. Nagahari? I don't know which one's correct. My apologies. I had some nice ramen, then went with her to her workroom where I read manga and answered occasional questions. I was also told to name her book in a tweet so that it would come up in tweet searches. Her workroom was full of popular manga books and I could read whatever I liked. It was strange and exciting to be able to use a manga's artist workshop workroom as if it were a manga cafe. Most of the time, she just worked away silently, but now and then she'd out something like, "It's great having someone here." Then she'd mutter things like, "It's like being at a friend's house when you're small." I wish everyone knew how nice it can be just to have someone there. And it feels so good, just right. I was pleased, though of course I hadn't done anything. Twitter bird representing that of the Twitter bird commenter. I wanted a person to watch me while I was working, so I rented one. A nice looking young man came and sat behind me, reading quietly. Whenever I spoke to him, he answered politely. It was perfect. I kept muttering to myself about how nice it was. I really managed to get on with my work. And another advantage of having rental person come over was that I had to tidy the room. There had been no space on the floor for ages, nowhere to put my feet. It was strange, though, to see someone from outside the family reading manga in my room. Okay. Landing. Landing in Fortnite. Landing in Fortnite. Fortnite landing. Okay. Though I found lending and borrowing manga with my ex-colleagues stressful, I don't think I felt like that when I was a child. For Japanese children, manga is simply one of life's great pleasures. Any manga you haven't read is welcome, especially one your parents won't buy you, and it was just fun having friends. Okay. Up two, keep running. Keep running, auto run, you got this. There's certainly a difference between childhood and adulthood in terms of the cost of stress that friends or friendship involve. Um, Here, let's get some loot and stuff. Why not? You know, I've been good. We're in a little moment to, focus on the fort, a little less night, you feel me? Oh my goodness. My game is not not loading great, which is weird because I think I have it to like minimum settings. Basically had a driver update and it was like, oh yeah, this thing you had it set to isn't super well supported anymore. Do you want to switch it to performance mode? And this doesn't look that great either. Like it's visually not great, and then it's stuttering worse. You know, usually you're taking one for the other here, but you know they're just both kind of bad. Shield bubble, huge. Oh, wait, let's get this out of my inventory. Wait, am I able to pick these up? Oh my goodness. I just gotta make sure not to hurt anybody. Uh-oh. So I got that. Coming back for. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm safe in here. Let's get some more reading done, chat. Let's go. I think this specialization of friendship is apparent to some. Oh, wait. There's certainly a difference between childhood and adulthood in terms of the cost or stress that friends or friendship involve. Friendship for an adult seems very complicated. Rather than all around friends, people seem to have friends for specific purposes. Friends to go drinking with, for example, or friends to play computer games with, and friends to go to concerts with. I think this specialization of friendship is apparent in some of the requests I get. When someone asks me to go with them to a restaurant, a computer game tournament, or a pop concert, I think that rather than having nobody at all they could ask, it's more a matter of not having a friend for that specific purpose. Unless the friend shares a particular interest, inviting them to come along might feel like asking a favor, and thus puts you in their debt. You know what? Another thing I need to check, chat? I need to check and make sure that my mic is the right mic. Yes, it is. Sweet. I almost broke the bush. That would suck. People want to enjoy life, and having friends for particular purposes allows them to do so. But this means friendship for adults often has ulterior motives. While working at my previous company, I realized that a lot of people took a very rational approach to friendship, but I never liked the idea of being part of that system. Not that any of my colleagues would have wanted to involve me in their lives outside the office. At Japanese companies, one is expected to have a close bond with colleagues who are part of the same intake class at work, and going drinking together is almost compulsory. I found I couldn't really adapt to this. I couldn't be made to feel differently about people just because they happen to have been employed in the same year. It was stressful to be expected to take the role of a friend in that kind of way. Now, though, doing nothing, I quite happily perform the roles assigned to me by clients. I don't at all dislike accompanying requests. They're easy. There is no lying involved. If I was a rental person and someone asked me to go with them to a restaurant they felt they couldn't go to on their own, I'd be skeptical. Why me? I'd think and suspect some hidden motive. But when people use do nothing rental, there's no suspicion. I feel secure. I know I'm simply being used as a tool to achieve a goal. Opened envelope representing that of a message. I wonder if you'd go with me for some ramen at the Ramen Jiro place in Ojikubo. I've never been to a Ramen Jiro before, and I don't know how to order. I'd feel nervous on my own in such a busy place. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. A request to go with someone to a Ramen Jiro. One of my very first clients asked me to line up with them at a Ramen Jiro exactly 6 months ago. So I've been to one before and could understand how someone would feel nervous going for the first time. My previous visit was on the first day of Do Nothing Rental, so it was a 6 month anniversary. So for me, it was a rather emotional bowl of ramen. Why is it difficult to ask a friend to go with you to a restaurant you feel awkward to going on your own? Maybe it's as I said now. If you don't have a friend for that particular activity, you might just put yourself in debt if you ask someone else. In Japan, people are very conscious of reciprocity. 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 Someone receiving a gift will try to reciprocate with a gift of greater value. This mentality promotes a gift giving cycle, which helps to sustain relationships. I think people look for similar reciprocity in terms of behavior between friends. If A does something for B, then B will try to do something more for A. The writer Tamaki Kageyama describes the sense of obligation that a recipient feels as a healthy feeling of debt. For me, though, there's nothing healthy about it at all. The feeling that I have received more than I should from somebody is a source of extreme stress. If a friend does something for me, I have no idea how to repay them, let alone give them something of greater value. After all, I'm somebody who can't actually do anything, so I end up just carrying a burden of guilt. And with actions as opposed to gifts, what makes them matters even more complicated is that you can't not easily put an objective value on them. The two sides may have quite different ideas about their value. Sometimes one side may not perceive any value at all. I think people are tired of the circle of excess reciprocation. They want to get away from the etiquette of insincere customs, such as summer and New Year gifts and New Year cards. Although I don't want to criticize people who like these traditions, it's obvious that many others, for their own reasons, find them a struggle. I think this is one reason why there's demand for rental person, where there's just no debt on either side, just payment for transport and food. Social media has made the range of people's potential relationships much wider. Human relations used to be one to one, and any personal exchange could be handled privately. But with social media, this can all become common knowledge. I'm going off on a tangent here, but it seems that the reason dating apps are so popular is that you can easily link up with people you don't know. It makes life simpler than trying to date someone within your community, where everyone will hear about it straight away. Rental person also has the advantage of being someone you don't know, someone unconnected with your community. Do nothing rental is a way of achieving something without incurring any kind of debt. Open envelope representing that of a message. Good evening. Please excuse this sudden message. I am giving 10,000 yen to people I like. Would you accept a payment? Wordbird at Morimoto Shoji. A request to accept 10,000 yen. This person wants to give 100 people 10,000 yen over 2 years. When people worry about my money situation, I normally put on a brave front and say something like, well, I expect some will turn up somehow. And here it is, completely out of the blue. I was amazed. I mentioned a similar case earlier, and as I said then, people often send me Amazon gift cards and so on to say thank you. But this was real money, not even as a thank you. I gave the person my bank details and they transferred the money. I was delighted. It's nice to get gift cards too, of course, but an Amazon gift card can only be used on Amazon. So I suppose I think, well, why not give me cash? Okay, this could be bad. They could try and take the zip line. Okay, they were in a different spot than I thought. Hmm. Another thing I tend to be given, apart from Amazon gift cards, is 500 yen Starbucks vouchers. I suppose people feel they've given me 500 yen, but to be frank, I don't often go to Starbucks. Oh, I gotta get out of the storm. Do do do. That's not good. Where were those footsteps from? I heard them. Alright, let's just go. Need to worry about it. I'm splooging. There's a launch pad there. Okay, top 20 now. It's better than last time, yeah? I don't know if we want that. Let's see how much gas this car has. Go, 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 go. Cha-ching. Hello, Ivysaur. Ha 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 ha. Very funny, very funny. You're making me laugh and giggle like a giggle monster. Hello, Rialdo. We're doing some more Fortnite. No Balatro. No Balatro. Just knowledge, just information, just reading. You know, what rank am I? I think I'm Diamond 1. What rank are you right now, Rialdo? Look at that. Look at that diamond right there. So beautiful. Where were we? Ah, I haven't hopped on. Yikes. Yikes. That's not good luck, Rialdo. I'm just kidding. Aren't you playing Counter-Strike? The people yearn for you on Counter-Strike, bro. You got Chaz, Ark, Anna. They're all sitting there probably begging for you. They're like, where's our fourth? Manu is there too. Okay. Of course, I know people think it's rude to give money as a thank you. They feel it lacks refinement, and they worry it might seem condescending. With its Starbucks brand packaging, a 500 yen voucher seems more sophisticated and more suitable as a present. But the recipient would far prefer a 500 yen coin. People also give me 100 yen coffee vouchers for use at convenience stores like Lawson or 7-Eleven. I don't buy coffees at convenience stores, so I never use them. I've begun to find it a bit stressful to thank people who give them to me. So, just to be clear, if anyone wants to thank me in that kind of way, I'd prefer money, even if it's just a small amount. It might seem inconsistent for someone offering a free service to say he likes getting money from clients. But when I'm traveling to meet people, there's often a choice between a quicker, pricier route and a slower, cheaper route. If I get 100 or 200 yen, I can choose the quicker route without feeling any stress. Open envelope representing that of a message. I've always wanted to spend a day on the Yamanote rail line circling central Tokyo. It would be quite cool to do it alone, but I think it would be fun to have someone to talk to. I wonder if you would come with me. Yep, just get driving. Okay. Top 15. A staunch improvement from last time, I would say. Oh, this is not good for me. Woo. Let's be friends, right? Get me out of here! I've had one time where they killed me with like a pickaxe in the car or something, so I just had to get out of there. Which I hate because like I want to trust them. I want to be like, oh, we could be maybe a little friendly towards each other, but it's just too risky, I'm afraid. How much energy does this thing have? 3%. Look, we could be friends, bro. We could be friends. I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling, homie. I don't know why you're acting like this. Oops. I didn't mean that. Okay. dude, I can't check my chat right now. I don't have it active. I heard the little ping. Just leave me alone. Oh my goodness. Okay, I got a moment. Come on, pull it up. Pull it up. I didn't pull it up. No. I got a moment. Pull it up again. I'm so excited to gamble. But it's my bestie, my time. If it's your bestie time, then why are you in my chat? What are you doing here then, bro? Oh, to get out of there. I can chill here. Be like low-key chill. Bestie decided to sleep because they have a bedtime. Alright, so then hop on Counter-Strike. Hop on Counter-Strike then, right? Okay. So here's the plan, right? Drive forward. Drive into the buildings. There might be some loot for us. That would be pretty cool. Maybe a new car. That would also be swell. Oh, wow. Too bad I can't use those. The urge to get on the bus is real, chat. The urge to get on the bus is freaking realsies. Yeah, I earned account levels. You stupid. Oh, you should. It's too late now. I'm gonna die. This is my death. This is it for me. GG's. I'm gonna die here. Bleh. Oh, man. It's been nice reading this book again. And I like, when I read this book, like, it really just makes me think, okay? Like, he talks a lot about the human experience through a very oddly specific lens that he's granted by what he does for a living. And he doesn't even do it for his living, for a living. He does it in his life, you know, because he doesn't profit, or he hardly does profit. Reading books in this economy, very cool. Thank you. I have to be ready for someone to walk through that door. If I can make top 5, that's the goal, chat. Those footsteps, they scare me. Scared. Oh, someone got that car. Ah. I was gonna get that car. Not anymore. I want that crown, though. Let's just do this. Huge, actually. Genius. There's someone in that bush. 100%. Yep. Thought it was worth the risk, you know? Okay, do I use one of these sprays? I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like with how these sprays work in particular. Okay, well, actually, no. I want to be going this way. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, yikes. Oh, yikes. Just leave me alone. Yeah. We could be friends, bruh. We could be friends. Could be friends. Alright. No friends. I'm not allowed to have friends, and then I'm gonna get like plus 4% for this somehow. What is that? Top 5 though. True. Look at that. 6%, bro. 6%. They starving me out here. I'm starving to death. I'm like, please, please, Mr. Fortnite, please let me have this. I'm so hungry. And they're like, yeah, Lamau. Suck. You're cringe though. This game's shiz. It's random, bro. I just don't get it. Like sometimes, like I think there's so many like weird variables that I'm not quite sure of. Cause like I think who kills you matters. And I died to someone who was like platinum apparently, so I think that's why I only got like a little bit. But I'm not sure. Now I got a latex warrior. Yeah, that's funny. But I'm not entirely sure like how it works because there'll be times where I get like maybe like 19th, but then I gain like 20%. Like it's just a crapshoot, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to be super negative about it because there's been a lot of times. Yeah, I should time you out for that one. What a fun meta we have right now, you know? Just knocking people into the storm. It's kind of wholesome. Shouldn't have done that. Shoot the tree. Oh wait, I should be reading. Don't time me out, I'm innocent. Okay, I won't do it then. My bad. I misunderstood. This was the most time I've spent on a request so far. I don't mind a request taking a long time. I don't see what's wrong with tying someone down time-wise. If both sides agree, it doesn't matter at all if there's no money involved. Some clients like to give a financial thank you. One gave me 15,000 yen for the time I spent with her at Tokyo Disneyland. She said she loved spending money on people and didn't normally have much opportunity. She'd come down from Tohoku for a friend's wedding at Disneyland and had planned to spend a day before the wedding seeing the attractions. The friend she intended to go with had to cancel suddenly, so there was a spare ticket. Rather than go on her own, she asked me. Besides paying for my ticket, the client also bought me a lot of nice food, gave me more gifts from Toho, Tohoku than I could carry. Then, on top of all that, came the envelope with 15,000 yen inside. The sum included travel expenses, but the return fare from Koku Bungee to Disneyland was less than a tenth of that. Do Nothing Rental had only been going for a short while when I had this request, and at the time I was just extremely grateful. These days, I find it very interesting to see how different people feel about taking up others' time and how perceptions vary as to what is appropriate as a token of gratitude. Of course, as I said before, I don't mind how much I spend on a request. I never feel negatively towards someone because I'm with them too long. And Do Nothing Rental has always been free, so I never ask for any on remuneration. Remuneration? I don't know what that word is. It's nice though when after I've handled a request, the client tweets about it. It spreads the word, which it which is a reward in itself. And I always hope that people who tweet enthusiastically, I'm a dip, is asking to call me, enjoy the call, drive safe, hop on Counter Strike, which I guess I could hop on my position, which I like to hold. I'm not hopping on Counter Strike. Oh, that's unfortunate. Your loss, I guess. Like, your loss, dude. It's your loss, bro. It's your loss, man. It's your loss. It's your loss. I mean, that's just what I'm gonna say here is that it's your loss, my pal. Pal, my fancy Wenzy. I could start going for that. That helps a lot. Just getting that barrel and then making a run for it. But it leaves me so open, I guess. It scares me. Woo. The Disneyland client sent another request in December. She wanted to spend some money on a present for someone. She liked choosing presents, but felt that giving one to a friend or acquaintance might make them. Yeah, and you have no util? Okay. She liked choosing presents, but felt that giving one to a friend or acquaintance might make them feel she wanted something back. So, she wanted to give one to me. When I gave her my address, she said she was thinking of sending me some meat and rice. My wife and I are both lazy and normally use no wash rice, so rather cheekily I asked if she'd mind sending that type. She agreed straight away. Certainly, she said. I'll find the best I can. I'll enjoy looking. A few days later, a parcel of delicious meat and no wash rice arrived from Tohoku. Another request message said, I want to buy someone a meal. To be perfectly honest, this isn't a feeling I've ever experienced myself, but the client, again a woman, said that her meals were always being paid for by men, which made her worry about how she behaved and what she chose. If I pay, I'll be able to relax and eat what I want, she said, so I went along with her to a high class restaurant in Shinjuku and ate my fill of very expensive food. I'd never seen a chef soldering foie gras before, and I'll probably never see it again. It felt very strange to be eating that sort of food for nothing. I didn't feel awkward about being given a meal like that. If it had been a friend, I would have probably said, let's share the bill. As it was, I just accepted it. She wanted to spend the money on me, so I let her. It's the same when people give me money or gift cards. They want to give me something, so I let them. That's the way I look at it these days. When I said this to the person who's writing this book for me, they said I must feel an offertory box at a shrine. Oh, when I said this to the person who's writing this book for me, they said I must feel like an offertory box at a shrine. Well, I'm not sure how an offertory box feels, but I think that the situation with rental person is a bit different. People who throw coins into offertory boxes are wanting some kind of blessing or protection in the future. But for people who give me gift cards and money, no objective beyond the act of giving. They just want to throw the coins. Giving makes people feel good. It lets them feel positive about themselves. I can't think of a very good analogy. I suppose giving me gifts is quite like giving food to a pet. Pet just accepts the food. Though this do nothing service. Uh oh. Okay, well, they're going to that side, so. Through this do nothing service, I've encountered a lot of different perspectives on money. Everybody wants money, and it's difficult not to feel stressed when you don't have it. So, when we do something, we tend to think about financial benefit. I think that is why new ideas so rarely take shape. If I were to make money a top priority, whatever I did would be dull. Rather than avoiding stress, I'd become even more stressed, so I put the issue of money aside. For now, this allows me to do interesting things. Perhaps these will lead to something that makes money in the future. As I said before, if I charge clients, it would lead nowhere. I think ignoring money has allowed me to have different values, which stimulate new and different ways of relating to people. Rental person has been described as a new age gigolo and a new age beggar. I think being a gigolo or beggar are potential ways of relating to people, and the word new sounds good. So I feel quite positive about these comments. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. If I meet someone, or the type of person who thinks any human activity must be a way of making a living, I tell them I'm a writer. I'm researching at the moment, I say. Do nothing rental, so I can experience a lot of different things without much expense. It works rather well. When I started this service, a number of followers asked me about my private life, and in reply, I always tweeted that I had a wife and family, that my wife supported my activities, and that we lived off my savings. My only intention in posting these tweets was to answer their questions, but because I'd said that, people became less weary of me. If I hadn't if I hadn't had my wife's agreement, I expect people would have looked down on me. Well, I suppose some are contemptuous anyway, but the fact that I have her support certainly seems to make people feel more at ease. And they probably don't feel guilty when they make a request. There's certainly no reason to. Financially, we are okay at the moment, so no one should worry that a request is too trivial or that it would tie up my time. Even so, some do worry. The Disneyland client was one of those. Besides giving me 15,000 yen to thank me for my time, she also encouraged me to go home early. Although she knew that I was married, when she'd made her request, she didn't know that we had a baby. When I mentioned it at Disneyland, she told me I should go home. I was supposed to be with her until the evening, but in the end, we said goodbye in the middle of the afternoon. It had never occurred to me that someone might show concern about my family. It didn't seem necessary. Rental person is my job. There is no reason for a client to worry. Just to be clear, the visit to Disneyland was very enjoyable, and the meat and no wash rice the client sent us later on was delicious. If I get similar requests in the future, I am sure I'd be very pleased to accept them. And I think it's marvelous that someone could be so kind as to say I should leave early because I've got a small child. All I mean is that rental person, that type of consideration isn't necessary. When I worked at the company, I sometimes said to myself, this isn't what I want, but I have to do it for the money. I couldn't keep that up. Later, I tried dealing in virtual currency. I soon grew tired of it and gave up. But the experience taught me that money isn't just payment for work, it can come in lots of different ways. And then I started Do Nothing Rental, letting go of the idea of money altogether. Of course, some things are impossible without money, but having given up trying to get it, I've obtained other things, and I've realized that money is nothing more than a convenient tool. I should add that it's entirely possible that my wife will stop supporting this Do Nothing service in the future. My savings will not last forever. Open envelope representing that of a message. Hello! You were with me when I telephoned a lender I've been having trouble repaying. I've managed to make this month's payment in full. It's ages since I made a payment on time. I'm really happy. I feel almost respectable. I don't know if it's the excitement, but I feel a terrible urge to be wasteful. So please let me. It's up to you whether you use it or not. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. A client who was behind with debt repayments. Uh-oh. Lol. Lol, 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 lol. There's no way this works, right? Gotta get going. Up two. I can't believe I lived. I really cannot believe I lived. just keep going. We're so close to finishing the chapter too. That's the funny part. I don't want to dance, feeling kind of dancey. I want to celebrate, we're on the last chapter. Which this upcoming chapter. It's called Not Resisting AI. Kind of an interesting chapter name. I'm just going to come out and say it. I believe this was made in 2021, 2022 maybe. And so, in terms of not resisting AI, this was a different topic back then. Like the understandings and the implications of AI were far less known. And for all I know, he could be talking about something else entirely. Maybe he's talking about some sort of like organizational automation or like I don't know, like maybe it's like a chatbot or something. Not that those are necessarily like okay for that's really up in the air. But I'm very very interested to see what that chapter is even actually going to be about because first impressions not the best, I will not lie. Guess I collected a walkie-talkie. That's cool. Is that a launch pad? Well, no, 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 no. They can chase after me with that thing. That. Let's do this. Open envelope representing that of a message. Oh, wait. A client who is behind with debt repayments has managed this month's payment. She sent me another Amazon gift card. Seems to be a committed waste addict. This is chapter 5. Not resisting AI. Like I said, I'm very curious like what direction this chapter is going. More importantly, I'm very surprised that this is what the book is going to end on because there's been some pretty heavy words, there's been some pretty deep and philosophical ideas. And if it's just going to talk about like AI, like that's kind of honestly kind of lame, but there's been a lot of surprises in this book. And who knows, maybe this chapter will be another one. Open envelope representing that of a message. I want to remember what I've gotten to do this week. But normal reminders and memos never work for me. Can I send memos to you by DM? If I send them to someone, I think I'll remember. Reply at Morimoto Shoji. Okay. Open envelope representing that of a message. Pay Notori. Pay HIS. Open envelope representing that of a message. Done. Thank you very much. People tend to be driven by a feeling that they must, quote unquote, do something. And once they've done it, they feel they must do more, better, and faster. But when I started connecting with people as rental person, I realized that a surprising number were after something rather different. I sometimes get requests to simply reply to a message using the exact words that a client has provided. I was sent a photo of a pet and asked to reply with the message, "That is unbelievably cute." I accept this kind of request if the words are given to me before I replied. The client sent a video too, and also a picture of themselves, but all I had to do was simply reply with the words I'd been given, so that's what I do. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. I was asked to send a message saying, "Wow, amazing," about something unusual that had happened to a client. They'd gone to a shrine at New Year and chosen two fortune slips, which said exactly the same thing. It did seem very unusual, and I responded as requested. There can't be much doubt about what the client's year has in store. It was as though the second slip was saying, "Look, I've told you once already." I often receive requests to send particular messages at particular times. At one stage, I had huge numbers. It's something that smartphones have been able to do for ages. So, why ask a person? Humans don't do things perfectly. They're not like computers, which are 100% reliable. So, with Rental Person, success is not assured. First, I have to accept the request. The client may worry that, "Oh no, I'm in the storm." Okay. The Mal. Is there a car? There's never really a car over here, is there? There's a bike. I'll take that. Alright, back it up, back it up. Okay, wait, is that Portafort? Uh, nope, nope, that's not what we want. Yeah. Okay, not what we want. Maybe go back to this building. I thought I saw green in there. It might be a health kit. Just, not worth the headache. Oh, is that another mission thing? We're just stumbling across these. How sweet. Is that it? Gerber gift card's kind of funny though, so actually I kind of get it. See the appeal. Someone is heading towards here. Wait, wait. Shrubbery. Never expect me. Scooting. You know what? Not a great hiding place, but I want to read. Alright? First, I have to accept the request. Wait, right here. There's already gunfire over there. Could go towards the shafts. But yeah, let's just do that. This is why I'm glad I got on the thing. Gold Rush. Gold Rush. Oh, that's kind of cool. You know what? This whole play as a whole is kind of cool. Not afraid to admit when I'm right. Not afraid to admit when I just got stuck under a tree. Hey guys, I just got stuck under a tree. Oh, wait, there's a mission thing? Can I go in there? Looks like a spot I can go in. Wait, there's not going to be anybody in here because it's new. Huge. Oh. Midas, why are you killing Fletcher Kane's men? They have families, bro. Warlords? Massive? But also is massive. Take me outside the storm. That's arguably worse, actually. Let's just go this way. Okay, let's be friends. Let's be friends. Oh my god, please. Oh, thank you. How kind. So much. Get me off of this thing, bro! I said acting so foolishly. Is that another walkie-talkie? Can I grab it? Do I got enough time? I got time, I got time. Chud, you're gonna get me killed. Did I just die because of the Chud? I died because of the Chud. I died because of the Chud. Oh. Alright, let's take a moment. Let's regroup. Go back to the lobby. We did some quests, maybe we see where that takes us. Yeah. This has been good. I think we're gonna finish the book. We're on page 160. So we got another, what, 25 pages? So we're a little under halfway there. I like that. That's cute. But yeah, I should see what's in the Music Pass. Wait, I'm not hearing that. That's cool. I don't know that song. Dark Horse? Oh my gosh. I hate that I kind of like that one song anyway. Sabrina Carpenter Lego style. Wow. So that's the first one, right? Then... Oh, okay. Cool, I guess. No, it's all right. As far as white women go, it's a pretty good one, I'd say. Okay. What is it? What was that? What is this? Is this the same quest that we've been seeing? I guess it is, and I'm just crazy. I don't remember her being there last time, but I guess she was. This ends. Is there any rewards for this, or is it just XP? It looks like it's just XP. No, I haven't looked through this yet either. I love the helmet on that. Ooh, the red. Ooh. Okay, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this skin kind of mid. This skin kind of mid. But that first skin, bro, is carrying me on this pass. I love that skin. I love that skin. The music pass, like I'm not a Sabrina Carpenter hater per se, but like I'm just kind of indifferent. And then going back to this battle pass, I like this battle pass. This battle pass is alright. So I have to claim. At this point, I might just turn auto claim on. I don't know, I'm only like halfway through, really. Eh, cares. Let's just queue up. It's a nice little break. Nice little diversion, I should say. We get a nice drink of water, Everybody make sure you're hydrating. Make sure your posture is in good position. Your posterior is posturized in a post successful manner. Mm. Humans don't do things perfectly. They're not like computers, which are 100% reliable. So with Rental Person, success is not assured. First, I have to accept the request. The client may worry that their request might be rejected, or that I don't see the message at all. Then I might not type the response correctly. These hurdles make the process more engaging for people. And because we can fail, success makes us happy. That happiness can rub off on other people. Even when we make a mess of things, our efforts may help to establish a bond of trust. So in this context, a human's low specs are a strength. The word specs is usually used when talking about the functions or capacity of industrial products. Applied to humans, I suppose one would expect it to refer to attributes like running speed, competence in foreign language, communication ability, or skills in a specialist area like the law or accounting. On that basis, I'm confident that Rental Person has very low specs. Zero specs. I couldn't do anything, so I started doing nothing. When this do nothing service had been going for about 3 months, I got a request generated far more response on Twitter than any I'd had before. Please. Oh, open envelope representing that of a message. Please, could you send me a DM at 6 a.m. tomorrow saying, gym close? Someone was trying to use Do Nothing Rental as a simple reminder service, but I replied okay, and at exactly 6 a.m., I sent a message simply saying, gym close. I took a screenshot of their correspondence and tweeted that it was the simplest request I've ever had. It got an amazing response, over 20,000 retweets and 83,000 likes. Rental Person's follower numbers shot up. At the time, I was just extremely surprised. Looking back, I think it was the human side that prompted the response. Perfect bus launch right here. Perfect, perfect. I could change off of the Balatro themed cards, who cares? Who cares? Do you think we get out of Diamond 2 tonight? That's the real question, right? I don't see it happening. I really don't. Okay, someone else is there. Not great. Not great at all. But yes. Okay. People like the idea of someone sending a DM at exactly 6 a.m. It meant waking up 5 or 10 minutes before the agreed time, getting the phone ready, typing gym close, watching the seconds tip by, and pressing send at exactly the right moment. People liked imagining someone going through this process, making sure it went to plan. Twitterbird commenter. That's a pretty tough request first thing in the morning. Tell them this is useful. Remind Akira108.com, an online personal reminder bot called RemindCon. Twitterbird commenter. That's a free service. It better be a telephone wake-up call. Twitterbird commenter. The idea of Rental Person sending a message at 6 a.m. brought a tear to my eye. Twitterbird commenter. They could have used an alarm, but how kind you are. Twitterbird commenter. A volunteer doing something like that at 6 in the morning? Amazing. Having done it, I know that it's not easy to send a DM at an exact time. And as I said earlier, Nothing Rental is not voluntary work. There was a follow-up to this request. Here's my tweet about it. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. The client remembered to take the gem clothes, but then seems to have left them on the bus. I don't know if that was the reason, but they asked me to send a second message at 3 p.m. saying, office. After the popularity of the gym clothes request, I got a lot of requests for reminders like that. About 30 a day. I couldn't really cope with all that, so I refused most of them, and I accepted the occasional one when I felt like it. For example, there was this important sounding matter. Wordbird at open envelope representing that of a message. Excuse me, I may have sex today, so could you send me a message at 12 to tell me to cut my nails? Ooh, I got a Twitter bot, or a bot, exactly when I was saying that. I was almost excited that someone was going to walk in when I was saying that. Does sending messages come with with the scope of doing nothing? I'm not very sure. When I got the gym work request, I thought it would be okay to see if it was a type of simple response. Some people may not agree. But as I've said before, it's difficult to draw a clear line between doing something and doing nothing. Here's the Rental Person thread that's attached to the biggest response so far. I think it was popular because it highlighted something only a human could do. Open envelope representing that of a message. Request. To bump into my dog on a walk and make a fuss over him. Reason. My dog loves people. He goes up to people without dogs and wags his tail, but most of them ignore him, so he gets disappointed. People with dogs often make a fuss over him, but they're busy walking their own dogs and don't have much time, so I try to walk him away. But then, my dog gives a little whine and sometimes tries to follow the other person. I don't want him to be thought too irritating. So I cajole him into leaving them be, but he always looks upset. He's very positive and gets over it quickly, but it hurts me a bit every time his boundless love comes to nothing. So I always think how it would be nice if a complete stranger would give him some attention. So I was wondering if you could make a fuss over him, pretending to be a complete stranger who happens to be walking in the opposite direction. A request for me to have a chance meeting with the dog. Why? Because the dog is overflowing with love. It was really cute. The client said that the dog was sad after I left them at the station, his tail tucked between his legs. This thread had 170,000 likes the last time I checked. People must have been attracted to the cute photo of the dog and the nice request message, too. It also happened to be Cat's Day in Japan, so dog lovers may have been feeling susceptible. Anyway, for me, it was a request that puts a spotlight not so much on dogs, but on the way humans love them. With the reminder request, people were surprised that a human had handled something that AI could do. I wondered what the reaction would have been if the dog request had been handled by AI. After I'd been petting the dog for a while, the client gave me a hand wipe. She said she always took some with her on her walk for anyone who touched the dog. It was a very human request, kind in every way. When AI first started to appear, a lot of people worried that it would destroy jobs. AI would be more efficient, and so human workers would become unnecessary. People were also concerned at the prospect of care robots dealing with the old and disabled. When it comes to looking after people, perhaps it's only reasonable to want human care, irrespective of efficiency. Somebody said that the demand for do nothing rental as a reminder service is similar to the demand for humans in care provision. Personally, I wouldn't compare it to something important like that. For me, handling reminder requests is more like a kind of performance. It's about enjoying the absurdity of swimming against the tide of efficiency. I don't think the popularity of the reminder tweet reflects resistance to the spread of AI. It just highlights the fact that people find automation dull. They share a kind of AI fatigue. So when the gym where tweet arrived, it resonated with people. It was just sort of thing that they were waiting for. And I think that there's a neat paradox in one human who can't rely on their own memory seeking support from another. May not be able to rely on theirs. I don't know why, but people seem to be very happy when I carry out this type of request for them. In about 50% of cases, they send me an Amazon card or Starbucks voucher. Sorry, had a bit of a coughing break there. And then I also thought, hey, maybe I should move around a little bit. Just so I'm not. Storm, how's the circle looking, by the way? Good, great. Hmm. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. A request to write, good job when a client completed their 20,000 character graduation essay. They found it hard. And 6 days before the deadline, they hadn't written anything. But now they have reported completion. As requested, I wrote good job. The requester sent me a 2,000 yen Amazon voucher. That's a good pay rate. 1,000 yen per character. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a really good joke. The client must have known that I didn't really feel what I said. After all, I just typed mechanically what I'd been told to and sent it off without thinking. But obviously, the Do Nothing Rental name has acquired a certain value. The client was pleased that someone reasonably well known, with a bit of influence, had taken the trouble to write them a message. I've gotten a reply from rental person. Being able to say that seems to make people happy sometimes. If it didn't, they wouldn't send Amazon gift cards. However, however much they appreciated however much they appreciated the manual input. Here's a slightly different type of DM only request. It's stuck in my mind. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. The client has been invited to a wedding, but isn't that close to the couple doesn't want to go. The client doesn't want to say so directly, but at the same time, they don't want to lie. So, they'd like to be able to say they have a prior engagement with someone. Then, on the morning of the wedding, they want me to cancel the appointment. I'm ranking this top request so far on my scale of actually doing nothing. Okay, let me to get a drink of water. And a little bit of a cough, and it just came out the wrong way. Okay. As the tweet says, the client didn't want to cause offense by refusing to go to the wedding without a reason. So, wanted me to pretend we had an appointment on that day. I found it a very interesting request. For the person who sent the wedding invitation, this use of do nothing rental person would make no difference at all. The client could have still have written, I'm afraid I have a prior engagement. The inviter would have been none the wiser. But the client wanted to alleviate their guilt by making out that there actually was an engagement. They wanted to be able to say to themselves, I made a real effort in refusing that invitation. To me, it seems rather like wrapping up a present carefully. Whatever the wrapping is like, the recipient is more interested in what's inside, but the giver feels satisfaction if they made the effort to wrap the gift up neatly. Personally, I think I'd have found it easier to just tell a straightforward lie, rather than go to the trouble of setting up a false appointment. After all, it was basically still a lie, even if the appointment charade seemed to water it down a bit. I suppose the client felt the process would still put their mind at rest. Or perhaps they simply wanted to remember their excuse. Forgetting lies can be very awkward. They often have to be kept up over time. I can imagine the client wanting to make the lie feel true by taking the step of actually making the appointment. Sometimes I'm not keen on a request, but feel hesitant about turning it down because I've dealt with the client before. In that situation, I sometimes hope that someone else will make a request for the same day and time, even if it's not true. It's much less stressful to say, I've got another appointment, than I'm not interested. And if I have given an excuse, I feel I can accept the next request from the same person without embarrassment. The wedding invitation request gave me a lot to think about. But when the day came for me to send the last minute cancellation, I completely forgot. So in the end, I really did do absolutely nothing. Sometimes I get a last minute cancellation from a client leaving me doing nothing on my own. On one occasion, this seems to have contributed to the client's success. Why are you walking towards me? Thank you. You scared me there. Is there any cars over there? There's gunfire. No! Okay, okay, okay. Hey, don't get caught on that. Here. That's useful. Okay, any other? No. Okay. Top 18, if we can push that a bit more, that's great. That's not good. That's not good. Okay, come on. Oh, man. My, th my throat does not like the fact that I have been reading, apparently. That's okay. Hello, little Chud. I'm throwing you down, Chud. I don't want you anymore. I want this Chud. Oh. Actually, I do want this Chud, because he can heal. He'd be the healiest Chud the world has ever seen. The healiest Chud that the world has ever seen. Yeah, 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 yeah. Chuddy, chuddy, chud, chud. Okay, so there's no one already been here. But that's okay. I'd say that's okay. Shut down. Let the chotties hit the floor. Let the chotties hit the floor. Let the chotties hit the floor. That's not gonna help. If I'm sitting here talking about my throat, like, ugh, it's so scratchy, and then I'm gonna start doing that. He's so sleepy. He's so sleepy. Poor little guy. What a wholesome little fella. Uh-oh. Chud, we gotta go. Gotta go. Done enough chudding for today. Okay, yep. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Goodness. Did I just talk too long? Is that what's going on? I'm confused. If I hide in that bush, they're gonna know I'm there. This bush, they might check as well. That last bush, though? That last bush? Right here? I think that's a winner. I was afraid someone else might think it was a winner, too. Okay. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. A client canceled the request to go rowing in Inokashira Park at the last minute when they were suddenly called for it. They said the thought of having canceled an appointment to be there spurred them to perform well. I find it hard to put their success down to the rental person effect, but clients are free to cancel at any time. So if people feel it may help. Attached to my tweet was the following DM from the client. Open envelope representing that of a message. I managed to get to the interview. Apologies again. The fact that I had canceled made me think that I must really try. And I did better than normal. Could be a useful strategy. I once had the following request to act as an interpreter for AI. Open envelope representing that of a message. Oh, wait. Okay. How far am I going? I really need to rebind my map button. Doing that for it's cap locked. Just stop me in place? No, that was the tree. I don't recall getting stuck under trees this often. I think there's something wrong. I kind of want that Mortal Kombat medal, even though, like, there's no way it's, like, of any use to me whatsoever. Hey, you wanna be friends? Wanna be friends? Sabrina Carpenter! Honka honka she, honka honka show, sipping that Mysore espresso. Wow. How wholesome. How wholesome. Wee! You're not gonna drive up into the storm now. I'd be very sad if you did that. I'd be terribly sad if you did that. I would cry if you did that, Sabrina Carpenter. I would be really upset. Sabrina Carpenter, you're not gonna do that to me, right, Sabrina Carpenter? Sabrina Carpenter, you have no intention to do that to me, right, Sabrina Carpenter? You don't mean to do that to me, right, Sabrina Carpenter? What if I threw my chud? Look at my chud. I'm pulling my chud out. Look at my chud. What? I think I scared her. I guess Sabrina Carpenter is not a fan of the chud. La 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 lava. La 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 chicken. Something. I imagine I'm going to grab this thing, and it's actually not going to be useful for me, because it's probably going to be, like, combat related, but... I mean, I don't even know if I'm not even going to get it, chat. I'm not even going to get it. Just leave them alone. Let them have it. Now I get a some sick air. Or not. Okay, don't hit anybody. Put it in my car, right? Yeah. It's me in the car. No, stop stimming, please. No more. No more. More la la the chicken. More Steve Lava chicken. It's healing. I take a little damage for that one. Oopsie. Don't land on me, I presume. Reboot card sold here. What? What? Okay, this could actually be useful, right? Let's throw this. Okay, Chud. Go, Chud! I don't want you no more! I don't want you no more! Underground chewer system. This really just go nowhere? That's crazy, actually. This was awkward. Chud, I didn't mean it. Chud, I'm sorry. Hub two. Yeah, I guess I should probably leave this area. Goodbye, Chud. I'll miss you, Chud. Sorry it has to be this way. Sabrina Carpenter! How did Sabrina Carpenter get down there? What the flip? Yeah, that's a much better vehicle. You can have it. I don't care. You can have that one. Promise. I mean it. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. Bonk. Took a little damage in the storm, but that's okay. I forgive you. Okay. Not wishing violence, but, you know, the fact that these guys take care of each other, the better for me. Alright, this is kind of like my car strat. Oop. What are we doing? Want a kiss? Mwah. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you either. No, no, that's not good. Alright, I'm not going after you. Not going after you either. I have to stay away from them because I don't want them in the car. I need to stop doing this as well. That one. Oh, this one hurts. That one hurts. Okay. Just leave me alone. Don't see me. Don't see me. Don't see me. Just don't see me. Don't see me, you don't care. Don't see me, you don't care, right? La 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 lava. La 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 chicken. Steve's loves chicken. Rainbow. Friendship. Friendship. My goodness. I'm not gonna hurt him. I try to emote with you. Oh, you're doing the chicken day. Okay, that's kind of cool because you're the eagle. I thought that was like that's a synced emote, is it not? I guess he just didn't want me touching. I guess cats do eat birds after all. I guess the cats do eat the birds, so he probably didn't want nothing to do with me. Oh, ooh, that 18%? Kind of nice, actually. Kind of nice. Kind of nice. Kind of dig it. All right. Opened envelope representing that of a message. This is a very simple request, but would it be possible for you to listen to some automatic vocal instructions on my mobile phone and repeat the numbers for me? There aren't many numbers, so I think it would take less than 3 minutes. I'm deaf, so sometimes I can't hear on the phone, and I'm really stuck with these numbers. At the moment, I have no one who can hear, so I thought I'd contact you. I wondered if you could possibly help me. After meeting the client, I sent the following tweet with a screenshot of the original message. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. A request to repeat numbers given by an automatic voice. The type of thing you get when you're dealing with bank accounts. The client is hard of hearing, couldn't identify the numbers. As soon as we met, the client passed me the phone. I put it to my ear and said the numbers that I heard. That was it. It took about 5 minutes. A new rental person speed record. This seemed kind of thing a charity volunteer would do. I felt it might make rental person look too good, so I hid behind the joke about the speed record. After that, the client sent a DM saying I felt rather embarrassed to have broken the rental person speed record, but I'm sure that there are others who face the same problem as I do, so thank you for sharing my request on Twitter. As I've said several times already, although I don't have a charity volunteer outlook, through this Do Nothing service, I have begun to appreciate the huge variety of problems that people face, and that sometimes Zero Specs Rental Person can be of help. With this listening request, if the client had just said, I'd like you to listen to the automatic voice instructions and tell me what they are, I might have refused. On the basis that it's, let me, ready back up. On the basis that it sounded too much like doing something. But the client wrote, would it be possible for you to listen to some automatic voice instructions and repeat the numbers for me? When I read that, I got the impression that the client understood my do nothing stance, and that encouraged me to accept it. When I feel that about a client, I tend to respond positively, even when the request may not quite fit with the idea of doing nothing. The rental person speed record was broken again within 10 days. Open envelope representing that of a message. I'm a university student. I can't get up in the mornings, and at this rate, I'm not going to get enough credits. I can't miss any more classes. Maybe I could get up if I was meeting someone. I wonder if I can meet you. Twitterbird and Morimoto Shoji. The request to meet. We met! The client arrived at the meeting place and then went to their class. We parted the moment we met, so the rental person speed record has been broken again. The basic function of Do Nothing Rental is to provide a person for a period of time. Typical requests that go on further than this include the watching type request I've already discussed. For these, I just have to be human in terms of size and shape. The specs are as simple as that. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. I had a request just to be with someone who wanted to study at home on their day off, but couldn't concentrate alone. It took me 2.5 hours to reach the house, and after that, I just was. I enjoyed being in the room. There were a ton of books, including expensive-looking hardcovers and some literary magazines. I put one of the books, Momo, back in the wrong place, which showed a lack of professionalism. I often go to places when people live alone. They never say, I want to clean the house in their request, but asking me to their home certainly seems to prompt a desire to tidy up. So although I just go to be there, I have an automatic side effect of getting the house tidy. People seem to be embarrassed at even a complete stranger seeing their rooms a mess. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji requests to be with someone who has work to do at home, but gets lazy on their own. The client says it makes a real difference just having someone else there, even if they don't watch the work being done. Right from the start, I've had a lot of this kind of request. It's becoming a standard scenario. A room tidying side effect was apparent as usual. Hmm. As rental person, a zero specs human being, it normally gives me great satisfaction to make a contribution in such cases, but I do occasionally wonder whether the client takes me too much for granted. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. I got a repeat request to watch the person studying. This time they didn't come to the station, and so I made my way to the apartment by memory. Went straight in, did nothing particular while I was there. When the time was up, I left. Began to whether I began to wonder whether this really made sense. Sometimes, when people ask me to come to their homes, they want me to eat food that they prepared. One woman was interested in starting her own restaurant and wanted to know how it felt to have a stranger eat her food. My only impression was that it tasted good, so I said so. To which she responded, I'm glad. She was married and her husband wasn't there, so the situation felt a bit unconventional. It was July 2018, soon after I'd started my Do Nothing service, and I was feeling my way as to what doing nothing really meant. While I was there, the client's mother telephoned. The client was a rather unusual person, and after a short time, she said to her mother, rental person's here, I'll put him on, and passed me the phone. There was nothing else for it, so I said, hello, rental person here. Are you having an affair with my daughter? Said the mother. No, I said. I'm doing nothing. It was a rather odd conversation. Another type of situation that I'd classify as simply providing a person for a period of time is a business meeting. Here are tweets I sent out during a meeting. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. I've been asked to attend a meeting where people from a company I don't know are going to explain a service I don't know. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. Everyone's looking at computers and eating burgers. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. Some chocolate gâteau has arrived, just as the meeting was getting lively. Alright, let's try to land here. So, that whole... Is the chapter called Not Resisting AI? Yeah, that's the title of the chapter. Not Resisting AI. It's like the opposite. This is a chapter that's about resisting AI. It's a chapter about the human experience and this sort of finger to the chin pondering of what it means to do something with a living, breathing person. Why is it called Not Resisting AI? Is there something I'm missing? Like, I've said this whole time, ever since I realized that was the last chapter, I'm like, oh, that's a weird can of worms. But it's actually really thoughtful, and I feel like it's actually been a fitting final chapter. So now I'm just confused. I'm wondering if there's something like towards the end that I'm not getting, or maybe it's a language barrier thing, maybe it's a mistranslation. I don't know, but I'm rather curious. Just let me be. 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 Oof. I heard someone, but I think they kind of went their own way. As you can see, I was doing absolutely nothing, but I've never felt so welcome at a meeting in my life. The company present president had asked me to attend. He wanted to have a stranger there to break up the normal dynamics. The people were told at the start that I was rental person. I think they tried to avoid jargon as to make it all simpler for an outsider to understand. Perhaps I made it easy for them to picture potential users of their service. Things which are obvious to the service provider may not be at all obvious to the user. Perhaps my being there helped the participants to appreciate this and take a wider view. Get a wider view inside this bush. There you go. Basically, all I did was eat hamburgers and chocolate, but sometimes the president asked questions like, what do you think of this? And what do you think of this illustration shown? Or what do you think this illustration shows? I don't know was about all I said, not knowing anything about the company or its service, I suppose. By not knowing, I was in fact functioning as a kind of monitor. When I started Do Nothing Rental, I thought it was most likely to be used in situations where, as in this meeting, I would be providing one person to add to a group of people. Rather than a meeting, though, I imagined myself in a party scene or a barbecue, somewhere people were supposed to be enjoying themselves. But once Do Nothing Rental got going, I found that by far the most common requests were one on one. Almost all, in fact. I never imagined that. If it was me, I wouldn't ask to be one on one with rental person. I think clients are quite brave. Though my relationships with clients are almost always one on one, use of Twitter means we're not alone. There's an audience of unknown size, so I feel that Do Nothing Rental is made up of three elements: me, client, and audience. Anyone watching can always go up on stage as a client, and a client can always sit in the audience. I think people respond well to Rental Person because everybody can feel involved. Nobody thinks it's none of their business, so they really seem to engage with my tweets. They're really interested in the difficult ways that others think of using. Oh, different reasons. Let me start this sentence over. They are very interested in the different ways that others think of using Do Nothing Rental. Here's a tweet I wrote when I'd refused a request from an exam student who wanted a message of encouragement. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. I used to work for an educational company. Every day, I would prepare math materials for students taking exams. Since quitting the company, whenever I see the word exam or hear people talking about exam preparation, I think, what a load of crap. I'm sorry for the student who contacted me, but I'm afraid the whole idea of exams has become mixed up with bad memories of that experience. I'm shivering. One of Rental Person's followers who saw this tweet decided to send the student encouragement of their own. It was as though I'd rejected the student as she tried to get up on stage, but the audience had applauded her. I really am sorry for my reaction. I mentioned before how I turned down 3 separate requests to accompany people to see the Emperor on his birthday. I suppose their decision to go together was like going with people they'd met in the audience. Do clients ever feel disappointed when they go up on stage? Fortunately, not often, at least as far as I know. Perhaps I've managed to control people's expectations. Recently, though, followers have been saying positive things, and I think expectations might have gone up. If so, there may in fact be quite a lot of disappointed people. I recently had a request to accompany someone on a walk through the streets, and we spent 5 hours wandering around one Tokyo. The client didn't say much, and of course, I only made unconventional responses. In fact, I wasn't feeling well, so I suppose my replies were briefer than normal. When we stopped, the client laughed and said, "We've been together for 5 hours. I'm sad we haven't talked more." The client sounded as though they were joking. Thinking about it now, I guess it's fair to say that they were disappointed. Do Nothing Rental clients normally say they enjoyed themselves. The stage can seem very lively. Expectations may be higher than I'd really like them to be, but it's a difficult thing to know what to do to control them. If I just sent out boring tweets and there were no retweets, likes, or replies, it would defeat the whole purpose. I've thought about it quite a lot and have decided that Rental Person will continue to have zero specs. I won't try to get a conversation going with the client. I can't. And I'm sure doing something or doing too much could damage things. Twitterbird at Morimoto Shoji. When I was asked to act as a host at a host club, I was advised not to prefer much to the girls, customers, appearance, or jobs. I think hairdressers should get the same advice. I don't want to be asked whether I'm on holiday today or told you look thin. Are you eating properly? I suppose these hairdressers want to seem interested in their clients. It seems excessive to me. Like many service providers, differentiating themselves make them do too much. I've been to hairdressers who ask you to fill out a form about your hair worries, just like a medical questionnaire. All I want is a haircut. When I say, same as last time, the hairdresser says, "Aren't you bored with that?" To me, this is completely unnecessary intrusion. Of course, it's their job, so a hairdresser is interested in hair. But as a customer, I'm not interested in it at all. Haircuts are just irritating things that have to happen every month or two. That's all there is to it. If the hairdresser has understood that, if the hairdresser understood that, things would be much easier. Recently, though, I've been going to QB House. Although it's cheap, they're professional and don't do anything odd. That's enough for me. I wear a cap all the time anyway. When I think about rental person's zero specs, somewhere in my mind lurk the remarks my ex-boss would make. It makes no difference whether you're here or not. I can't tell if you're alive or dead. You're a permanent vacancy. I suppose the basic specs for my job then were the ability to complete, in an efficient manner, any work that I was given. Mainly editing, teaching materials. Things, I gotta get the book a little closer to my face. Things were tense in the office at the time. Normally, producing educational materials is quite a routine process, with cosmetic annual adaptation of existing materials. But the syllabus was undergoing major changes, and the company had decided on a fundamental revision of their materials. So, what was required of the staff was not just editing know how, but also the ability to develop effective new materials. There were regular editorial meetings, and the focus suddenly shifted from individual work to teamwork. Ideas had to be developed with colleagues and presented to the boss. Project planning and communication skills were required. Some people thrive on this kind of teamwork, but I'm someone who just plods on in solitary silence. For anyone watching, it would have looked more than ever like I was doing nothing at all. The company wanted to outsource simple tasks and have staff concentrate on high level ideas to be creative. I'm afraid I couldn't come up with any useful ideas at all. Once I had given up on creativity and started out as the entirely passive rental person, it was fun to find myself steeped in the ideas and creativity of people who send in requests. So, what about my future? There's not much I can say. Will I still be able to live my life doing nothing? I'm not sure. I'm almost certain that as an individual I can live without doing anything. Many people are willing to give me meals as rental person, and I can find a place to stay just like that. I had a request in Osaka recently, and when I tweeted about it, someone offered me accommodation straight away. Ultimately, as long as people have food and accommodation, they can live. But I have a family, and I couldn't leave them. I might be asked to leave, of course, which would be a different matter. I don't have to think about the cost of education yet, but my savings will run out eventually. So I'll have to establish a long term means of supporting my family. Even though it's just a fantasy, really the idea of do nothing, family rental, has some appeal. I am sure the demand would be lower than for do nothing rental, but I can imagine requests for a family to stay in unoccupied houses while people were away. This wouldn't help with children's education, though. In the first chapter, I mentioned um, Jinosuke Kokoroya's notion of payment for being as something that triggered the idea of this do nothing service. I think I was also, in a vague sort of way, influenced by the birth of our child. A baby has completely zero specs, it can't do anything by itself, but with the love and care of its parents and others, it lives. As I looked at our child, I kept thinking how wonderful that was. And I began to wish everyone could live like a baby does, behaving just as they wanted. A thought like that should normally be discarded well before adulthood. But there it was, and I feel it helped the do nothing rental idea take shape. A baby is cute when it smiles, of course, and it's still cute when it's angry or bawling its head off. It's cute whether it's doing something or doing nothing. It's not trying to be cute, it's just acting naturally, doing what it wants. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the world worked like that? So, that not just me, but everybody, could live just as they liked. Maybe saying not just me, but everybody rings a bit false, as if I'm trying to make myself look good. After all, objectively, I think it's natural to want to take things easy when everyone else is working hard. I think it's honest to admit that, but actually, I'd prefer it if everyone else was living as they wanted to. Then I'd just be following the crowd. Perhaps I shouldn't be talking in such a philosophical way, but I mean what I say. Baby isn't just cute, it makes clear what it likes and what it doesn't. If you feed it things it doesn't like, it spits them out. It locks itself down. But as that perfectly cute, locked down baby grows up, it's forced to accept our values, adults' values. Its lock loosens and its cuteness fades away. It's such a shame. Makes me wonder why it is that adults shouldn't just live as they like. That's it. That is Rental Person Who Does Nothing, a memoir by Shoji Morimoto. There's still an afterword, and I plan to read the afterword, but right now we gotta move into the storm. Um, there are genuinely tears in my eyes right now because I never thought I'd finish this book. I I've been wanting to read this book for well over a year. I've been wanting to read this book for at least a year and a half. I've been wanting to read this book. The person I was when I wanted to read this book, when I saw it at the library for the first time, and I checked it out the first time, the person I was somebody much, much different than who I am today. And there's the obvious reason why. There's the obvious reason why. There's a reason you could maybe crack a joke about why. But even outside of that, my thoughts, my feelings, my way of life has been challenged and changed so much that it's hard for me to remember a time when I didn't want to read this book. And I think after maybe the second or after that second time of checking this book out and not reading any of it, I think I kind of just throw in the towel. I was like, okay, this is a book that I'll tell people that I've read. That they'll ask me what book I'm reading, and I'd say, "Oh, I'm reading this book." Or I'd, maybe mention a little bit, maybe like a reworded synopsis from the internet. It's crazy to sit here, and it's crazy to sit here and say, "Yeah, I read that book." And I think it makes me kind of tear up a little bit because it's a beautiful book. And there's no world where I read this book without sitting here in front of you guys. Really, there's not. Like I've been reading, like throughout this whole time I've been reading, but I've always been reading like informational books. Like right next to this book is a book that I've been reading off stream called Monkeys and Messenger. It's a book about meditation. Before that I was reading about philosophy or like fun facts or like just knowledge. This sort of obsession with an idea of like, oh, if I'm reading, I want to read because it's making me smarter. Or like I love that idea of getting information. But here before you guys now, I read something that wasn't that. I read something that just seemed entertaining. But little did I know that it would actually be something. Little did I know that it would be something that taught me more than any of those sort of self help or educational books could. Something that taught me and made me reconsider what it means to be a human. And that's really funny. It's really funny to have that sort of vulnerability while playing ranked Fortnite, while being gunned down with the Hollow Twister Assault Rifle Epic Rarity by a black condom with a ranked black bling. Like, there's a lot of humor in that. There's a lot of humor in that. And I think that just makes everything even more beautiful. So thanks. Thank you, everyone. And, maybe I'm counting my eggs before they hatch because we still have this afterword here, you know, which is one, two, three, four pages. Before we read that, I just want to say thank you because it means a lot to me. It's been a beautiful book. It's been a beautiful whatever the idea, whatever this freaking idea of I should read a book while playing ranked Fortnite was. It's been beautiful. And it has been some of the proudest moments of my life. And it's so funny to take such pride in it. To like tell people with a smile. Because much like Shoji Morimoto, the rental person who does nothing, it's easy for me to look at this situation and recognize that I myself have done very little, if not nothing. Because I've sat around and I've done nothing in Fortnite. Sat around and I've done nothing, read out simple responses. But despite that possible perspective, I get to sit here for you all, as happy as I can be, and say that I finished this book. So thank you. Thank you so much. I don't think that there's anybody even watching the stream right now. I think I'm talking to a one viewer. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a bot telling me how I can get cheap viewers. Despite that, I'm so thankful. All the things that I was able to. I mean, what rank did I start at? What rank did I start at with this whole thing? Surely it was like gold or silver, yeah? Look, oh, did I get a ranked guitar? Or no, no, that's from OG Pass. Huh. I mean, I wonder if there's a way to check, right? Zero build. So there's like a season to pick. Okay. Not available. Okay, well. It's career. Okay, so that's no, that's not what we want to look at because that's from everywhere. I'm actually surprised I have that many high end ranks before anyway. But let's see here. How do I change this? Stats options, yeah. Current. Look at that. No? 51. Wow. That's 78% of games. So like it's like 3/4. So if that's the 3 and that's the 4. Yeah, so that's oh, okay, well. Let's read this afterward, shall we? Instead of an afterword, conversation between rental person and his editor. Ed, thanks about the redraft. Could you get it to the designer this afternoon? Please say yes or no to the suggestions made in my email last night. The foreword and afterword can be sent later. Look forward to hearing from you. RP. Basically, yes, but instead of deleting the request about debt payment problems, I'd rather delete the afterword. I don't think I've managed to write anything worthwhile in the time given, so I prefer to just cut it completely. If that is awkward, yes. RP. What is the point of a foreword and afterword? I don't feel the same as I did when the book was written. From editor. I think a foreword and afterword are like takeoff and landing. I think they add structure and make it easier for the reader to enter the writer's world. As a reader, I often enjoy afterwords, and I think it would be a shame to cut it completely. My suggestions are: number 1, not cut it completely, cut it selectively, or 2, drafted by Monday, April 15th. The final draft should be submitted by the 18th. It would be great if we could have a safe landing with one of these. What do you think? From RP. Thanks for your reply. I understand what you mean, but I think it's going to be really difficult. I know it's very late to say this, but I've begun to feel very strongly that for me to write an afterword is contradictory to my basic stance. Just letting you know how I feel. From Ed. I understand. I'll contact you again tomorrow to decide whether to cut the afterword completely or maybe to put it in one sentence saying I wrote in an afterword, but doing so seemed inconsistent with my rental person stance, so I denied it, or I deleted it. It would be nice if we found some fun solution that fits with your thinking. Thank you for letting me know your thoughts. From editor. Just another thought. If we have no text, then perhaps a picture or something? From RP. Anything, as long as someone else does it. Flip the page, see a picture of rental person on his phone. That concludes rental person. Memoir, or a rental person who does nothing. A memoir by Shoji Morimoto. Thank you. So, this has been the test run. This has been the test run. And by golly, there's a lot of things to work out, a lot of kinks to iron, I should say. But I've enjoyed it. It's been fun, and that's the most important thing I wanted to test. I wanted to test if I could finish a book. And I did. Here we are. So, in that nature, we have some options set before us. I went thrifting the other day. A Rental Person Who Does Nothing was a book I got from the library. It is several months overdue. It may be 6 months overdue by this point. That may be just how long it's been sitting in my desk. From that point, I kind of considered that if I read something next, it might be best for it to be something that I own. Not something that was lent to me, not something borrowed, not something that I felt a responsibility to return or to rush myself through the process. Kind of thinking about that, the other day I went thrifting, and I thought, you know what? There's always a weird, astray variety of books at thrift stores. And so I went through, and I picked 2 books. These are not the only options, okay? These are not the only options for what we could be reading. But these are 2 books that I would like to read in the future. First is a novel by Donald E. Westlake, Why Me? John A. Dortmunder, trying to earn a modest living at his chosen profession, was unsuspectedly lifted to the hottest rock in town from a little jewelry store in South Ozone Park. By the time he realizes that the gaudy bit of paste he almost didn't take is actually the priceless Byzantine fire, a Turkish national treasure stolen earlier that night by a band of Greeks, the whole world is out for his hide. The FBI, because the United States had been about to return the jewel to the Turkish government, the New York City Police Department, which does not like egg on its face, and terrorist groups from at least 3 nations. But worse is yet to come. Their routine activities disrupted by a record 17,000 arrests in one day. Every petty and not so petty crook in New York wants to nail the clown who has thrown the cops into such a tizzy, led by one tiny vulture, a misnomer if there ever was one. The underworld is conducting an investigation of its own, aided only by Ma Bell's worst enemy, Andy Kelp, and by May, his unflappable, chain-smoking girlfriend. Well, my Dortmunderone, why me? I picked this one because the back of the cover has the author's face on it, like a ginormous face. Kind of reminds me of like Shel Silverstein, but like he doesn't look like Shel Silverstein, but like just this black and white picture on the back of the cover reminds me of that sort of vibe. The next is a little bit smaller. I don't know if it's like a smaller book per se. I just like the book itself. The size of the book, the physical book is smaller. I don't know if like the word length or whatever is going to be different because it feels like it's trying to fit more onto this book. The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman, a #1 New York Times best-selling novel. Ooh, I didn't see that when I picked it up. Which says a middle-aged man returns to his childhood home to attend a funeral. Although the house he lived in is long gone, he is drawn to the farm at the end of the road, where, when he was 7, he encountered a most remarkable girl, Letty Hempstock, and her mother and grandmother. He hasn't thought of Letty in decades, and yet as he sits by the pond, a pond that she'd claimed was an ocean, behind the ramshackle old farmhouse where she once lived, the unremembered past comes flooding back, and it is past too strange, too frightening, too dangerous to have happened to anyone, let alone a small boy. A groundbreaking work, as delicate as a butterfly's wing and as menacing as a knife in the dark, the ocean at the end of the lane is told with a rare understanding of all that makes us human. It shows the power of stories to reveal and shelter us from the darkness, inside and out. So, I picked this book because I really liked the cover. I definitely judged a book by its cover on this, but in a positive way, so it's fine. It's fine. But it's like the font is really nice. I like the illustration on the front of it too. There's just this like I don't know, disheveled woman like floating in the air, picking up like this skirt of her dress. There's this like little kid like holding a cat. And I just like, oh, this looks fun. So these are 2 books I picked. Now, I went through all this trouble. I don't think these are the books I'm going to be reading next. They might be. I might change my mind. Who knows? If somebody's here watching this, whether it be a VOD or a YouTube video, or you're in the stream now and you have a recommendation of which of those 2 you'd prefer, feel free to let me know. But what will most likely happen is we're probably going to do something a little bit more clickbaity, a little bit more, I don't know, susceptible for people to be interested. Like Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So, with that said, this has been Fortnite Pacifism Storytime. And this has been a reading of Rental Person Who Does Nothing, a memoir by Shoji Morimoto. May you all have a blessed night. Drive safe. Peace and love. Isor signing out.